Good afternoon, Ange. Opportunity even tomorrow to go to the top of the league.
Yeah, do you get something for that in October? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity for us to continue, our good form, and our performances have been pretty consistent, and obviously that's been backed up by the results, which obviously means we've moved up the table, which is great. But ultimately, the focus tomorrow is more about just continuing on that progress we've been making, and back at home, we want to make sure that again our football is at the levels we need it to be. When it is, then we know we're a good combination of players who can take it to any opposition. So that's our aim for tomorrow.
So Celtic shown consistency. The consistency of refereeing decisions has been called into question this week on the back of some controversial decisions. And we're reading the papers today that there'll be a vote on VAR before springtime. What do you make of the standard of refereeing in this country and the possibility of VAR being introduced?
Look, in terms of standard refereeing, I just look at our own games. I'm not really looking at other games and what's happening there. And from our perspective, I think we're just really keen to produce a game of football that supporters enjoy. And from that perspective, when the game is more free flowing and there are less interruptions, I think that becomes more of a possibility. So that's where my focus is in terms of officiating. We kind of hope that people see what we're trying to do, and that we don't really get caught up in things that aren't really that important in terms of the context of the kind of team we want to be. In terms of VAR, I've had exposure to it at in Australia, in Japan, international level. I think I've already said, got on record, that it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It'll happen everywhere, and I think you just, when it comes in, you embrace it. You understand there's still going to be some issues because that's been consistent worldwide. But ultimately, if he gets the big decisions, the majority of the big decisions right, I think it's a positive.
And can I just get an injury update from you? Obviously, Tom Rogic went off on Wednesday night. What's the update with him?
Yeah, so we had a scan on his hamstring. It's going to put him out for at least 2 to 3 weeks. It's not a major one, but he definitely won't be involved. In these games, and then obviously we've got the international window, which means everything goes to plan. He should be available once we get back from that. Josip Juranovic, ended up going to hospital. It was a pretty significant injury to his eye, but thankfully, again, for him, it's not serious, and he's rebounded really well. He's had it looked at, and will be available for the game tomorrow. Everyone else came through the game unscathed.
Of the game tomorrow, obviously it's Livingston. You had that defeat at Livingston a few weeks ago. How much of a different game are you expecting tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I guess just in the context of the fact that it's at home, and on our pitch, obviously playing there on the artificial changes the game a little bit, and I think we've progressed as a team since then. So, and that's the key for us, is that we keep evolving and progressing. But still be a difficult game. We'll still have challenges within that game, and as we've done for the last few, we just got to find the solutions out there while we're playing the game. And we know where the solutions exist, and we just got to make sure we perform at the levels we have been, and hopefully better. Because on any given game day, if you're not, if you come up just expecting to even at home to get 3 points just by going out there, it won't happen. So, I mean, that's our main focus.
And just in terms of Tom's injury, how frustrating is that? I mean, we saw against Hibs, first half hour or so is practically unplayable. And for his development this season, how frustrating is that you sort of got that wee period in the sidelines?
Yeah, look, all injuries are frustrating, but flip side of that is, I think Tommy's probably played more football in his first couple of months than he has for quite a while. So he was probably due a spell anyway. Certainly in my mind, Dave Turnbull in particular, because Cal obviously had a bit of time out with his injury. They've been carrying the burden of the midfield. So, to be honest with you, even if he had got through, I probably wouldn't have played him tomorrow. So, hopefully, if nothing else, this freshens him up again for another, run at it. But you're right, he was outstanding in the first half. He has been all year, but in the first half against Hibs, I thought he was at the centre of all, the good stuff we were doing.
Another player who's certainly caught the eye, Anthony Ralston. Scotland squad coming out next week. I mean, would you be surprised not to see his name in there? I mean, he's 4 goals already and,
Yeah, look, I mean, with all those things, I mean, I've been a national team manager and, you kind of factor all things into it when you're selecting a squad. But I think for Tony, what's important is that he keeps playing well. I said that in relation to his, contract, and I say that in relation to his international aspirations. If he keeps playing well, then those things take care of themselves. It becomes less of a debate about it. So that's what he's got to focus on. He's got to focus on continually to perform here and improve. And if he does that, I think if his performances at a club like Celtic continue to improve, then he has a great case to put his name forward. But the first thing is he needs to keep performing here.
Is there any update in his contract, sorry?
No, as I said the other day, it's, he's just got to keep playing well, mate, and those things take care of themselves.
And you've played every team in the league once, obviously 11 games in. Your second, how would you rate your first round of fixtures in the Scottish Premiership?
Entertaining. We've had some extremes in there for sure. We've had some good performances. We've had some good performances without getting results, and then we've had a couple of games where we've struggled. But I think the main thing for me is that I've seen growth and improvement in the team, and that's if you're sort of cutting the season up into quarters, well, that's what I'd like to see in this next quarter. That at the end of 11 games we're a better team than we were tomorrow, and if we keep doing that, then we're going to be a team that's gives itself a chance of success. So that's the key thing. But I think even if you look at the first game of the year against Hearts and look at the starting lineup on a day where Kyogo literally got off a plane to sit on the bench, things have changed quite significantly, which has helped that progress. But just in general, I think our football's improved since then.
Is that the message you give to your players? There's no doubt you are improving. You've, I think, 5 games in a row now. Is that the message to the players that we've still got gears to go? There's still a long way to go, not just this season, but in the journey under yourself.
Yeah, I have to. That's my role, because if I'm not in here every day trying to improve them and trying to improve us as a team, then what am I doing here? That's got to be a constant, and we've got to want to be better. Even the last sort of 5 games, our performances have been really good, the results have been good, but we know within those games we can improve things. And I think the players want that. I don't think there's a player on this planet that doesn't want to be better, doesn't want to achieve his potential. And my job is to make sure the environment here, and particularly with myself, is that every day we're giving them that opportunity to improve, because otherwise, I think it's negligent of me to just sit there and just put out a team and, expect them to do things, win games or improve without us putting in, as a coaching staff, the input to that.
Ange, I appreciate you've got a big game coming up, but I was just wondering your thoughts, being a former Australia manager, looking at Adelaide United and Josh Cavallo coming out and getting the support from everyone in Australia, what you made of that?
Yeah, look, I don't know Josh personally. Obviously, he's still a young man, and I kind of left the shores a few years ago. But I mean, with all these things, I always try and sort of, as best you can, put yourself in the person's shoes, and the amount of courage he needed to show to sort of, come out and just tell people that he wants to be himself. It's sad that it has to come to that, to be fair. I'd like to think we're getting to the point in the world where we can just let people be and judge them on, whether they're just a decent human being or not, and not sort of put labels and markers on everyone. I think we're slowly getting there. I think football's playing a key role in many of these fronts. It's great to see he's got support worldwide, not just in Australia. From my understanding, everyone around the world understands that, just what a brave decision he did make. And if I got one wish for him, mate, is that he's just allowed to enjoy his football now and become the best footballer he can be, which is, I'm sure that was what he had dreams of as a young man, as a young boy, to just become the best footballer he can be, and hopefully he's allowed to do that.
Can I just get your thoughts on the International Football Association board saying that they're recommending 5 subs in football in general, that's their recommendation? Would that be something you would back and like to see in Scottish domestic football?
I'm a bit torn between it. I'll be honest, I didn't like it when it came in. I think part of the challenge of football has been, the attrition of players giving everything during 90 minutes and subbing 5 players on, which is, half your outfield, means that you're not achieving that as part of the process of being successful. But the flip side of that, there's a duty of care to players, and there's no denying that they're playing too much football. I went through a period last year in Japan, mainly because of COVID, that we played a ridiculous amount of games, too many in my opinion. And if we didn't have 5 substitutions, we would have had a lack of duty of care for players, and the spectacle itself would diminish. So, as I said, I'm torn. Inside me is a bit old school, but as the world evolves, old school doesn't cut it anymore, and we've just got to get with the program. And I can see the benefits of it as well, because I think it means that games stay at a really high intensity right to the end, and I think that's a positive thing.
Ange, can I just take you back to what you were saying about VAR? I know you said you like a game with minimal interruptions, and we've seen VAR maybe in certain contexts maybe slowing the game down a wee bit too much. Would you like, as a manager, to be involved in the discussions about how it is implemented, because it is implemented different ways in different countries?
Yeah, look, I'm happy to give my opinion. With all these things, I think us managers tend to look at it through a pretty narrow lens of our, for the most part, our own sort of priorities. But if there's one sort of element of VAR that, I kind of struggle with, is that time it takes to make a decision, and particularly around goals and major incidents when you don't want to take it away from the euphoria or the jubilation of something great happening. I think that's improving, and I think the one thing about technology is that there'll be people out there working on things today that probably in 6 months' time will help in that area of just the speed of the process. I don't think there's anyone in the football world that doesn't want, as I said, the major decisions being right. I still think referees should control games for the most part, because I think that's part of the process of allowing the game to flow. But I think the frustration at times has come with just how long it does take to come to decisions. So I'm hoping technology helps in that process.